Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Morgan. This is my channel Pisces Paperbacks, and today I'm going to be very excitingly beginning my vlog of rereading Midnight Sun. This was one of my favorite books I read last year. It's one of my favorite of the Twilight books. It's Twilight from Edward's perspective, and it's wonderful. And you know what? I want to know if it holds up a year later. So last year I read this in the middle of like a break from YouTube, so I didn't get to really like dive deep, except I did post an hour-long review video with my friend Tatiana. That was very fun to make. But this time I'm going to be rereading this book, and I'm going to be giving you the nitty-gritty on every stupid thought I have while I read this huge fucking chonker, okay? Every time I have a stupid thought, you're going to hear it. Every time I think something in here is stupid, you're going to hear it. And we're just going to see how it holds up a year later, you know what I mean? Now also, I look like this because I just rolled out of bed, so don't judge me. But I'm so excited. I love this book so much, and I can't wait to share it with all of you during my reread. Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to say. Hi everyone, before we dive into the rest of the video, I do want to acknowledge that the Quileute tribe does have a Move to Higher Ground fund where you can donate money and help their community move to a safer location. I have donated in the past, and I will be donating again with the release of this video, because while I do enjoy the books, I do want to acknowledge that there has also been harm done, and a way to give back to the people who have been impacted by this series is by donating to the fund that their community needs. So if you would like to donate, I will include those links in the description, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. As I begin my journey, I'll just do a quick little recap for all of us, everybody in the crowd here. And basically, Midnight Sun was a book that Stephenie Meyer started writing just kind of like as an exercise, like a writing exercise, in 2008, or before that, around there. Right around when the first movie came out. And she hadn't been finished, and she had gotten about a third of the way through the book. It was 250 pages, and she sent out copies for people to read, and someone leaked it online. And she was so pissed about it. She was like, first of all, there's multiple different versions, so I know who it was. Second of all, because you leaked it, nobody, like, I'm never gonna write this book, fuck you. So she posted, I mean, she didn't say fuck you, she's a Mormon. So she posted the unfinished draft on her website, and it was just there to read as a PDF for years. I did read it many times. And then last year, suddenly there was a countdown on her website. And when I tell you I lost my fucking mind, I knew this was good. I knew it was gonna be Midnight Sun, because last year was the 15-year anniversary of publishing Twilight originally, and on the 10th anniversary she published Life and Death, which is that like gender swapped version. And so 15, what do? You let the big guns out. It's about 200 pages, 250 pages longer than the original Twilight book, which I love, but is also a testament to how little Edward just shuts the fuck up. And I am gonna start right now, and I'll let you know how it goes once I'm a couple chapters in. Okay, so this is something that we talked about in our review, but chapter 2, Edward is in Alaska hiding out with the Denali women because he doesn't want to be in Forks near Bella, and literally he's talking to Tanya, and he's like, they're like flirting, well, she's like trying to flirt with him, and he's like thinking about her, but basically he's like, the Denali sisters discovered their humanity mostly due to their fondness of sleeping with human men. And it is like, first of all, it's like a throwaway paragraph that's never, ever, ever brought up again. But second of all, isn't that like literally the crux of the problem for 3 books? There was some police there, and I'm holding my phone up in front of my steering wheel while I'm driving, don't mind me. But like literally, like all of Eclipse, like all of Breaking Dawn, she just wants to bang Edward, and he's like, no, I'll kill you. Literally, Tanya and her sisters have been sleeping with men for a millennia. So I don't understand, man. That really fucking bugs me. There is a very short area on our walk where I'm like in the woods, and I just think it's very appropriate because it's just like, oh my god, I'm in Forks, I'm walking through the woods, Bella's considering whether or not she cares if Edward's a vampire. I'm not at that point in the story yet, but just like I know that it happened. She like goes on a walk in the woods, and she's like, doesn't matter to me, you know what I mean? That's that iconic moment. So very now. I love it. It is many hours later. It's like almost 11 and I'm home from work. I'm getting ready to go knit in the other room, but I've been listening to the audiobook of about 15% in. Edward is emo and overdramatic at the best of times, but this is the first time where he said something where I'm just like, okay. Basically, Alice just had the vision where she's like, there are two options for the future. Either you're gonna kill her or she's gonna be a vampire someday. She's like, we're gonna be friends, I'm gonna love her too. And Edward's like, love her too, what are you talking about? And Alice is like, think, dumbass, think. I would like to say that at this point they've interacted 3 times, like over the course of 3 days is all of their interactions that they've had. Edward has left the house. He's like, I need to be by myself. And he's like, I need to think about the ways that I've mutilated the future. He literally is like, I've destroyed the future. I mutilated it. And I was like, slow your roll there, sir. It's a little hardcore. Love that for him. They're gonna fall in love soon. And Elsa is also very excited, right? Yeah. Don't mind my double stuffed Oreos right here. I just thought I would let you know where I am. So right now, if you don't know the timeline of Twilight as intimately as I do, basically, the first time they meet is in biology class, right? And that's like a Monday, and then he's gone for a week, and he comes back like next Wednesday or something. And that's the day, the second day in biology class when they do like the cell lab, and then the very next morning is when she gets hit by the truck, right? Almost hit by the truck, and Edward saves her. And then he ignores her for about a month and a half. And so what I'm reading right now is like that time when, from Bella's perspective, we just get like honestly a couple paragraphs being like, time moves so slow here, and every single day I was so aware of Edward out of my periphery, but I just, you know, talked to my friends and pretended everything was okay. And it's very quick, it's kind of skimmed over. So what I'm reading right now is from Edward's perspective. He's like basically obsessed with spying on her through other people's thoughts, kind of in a creepy way, but also in like he was first doing it to monitor. I'm going into way too much detail. Anyway, if you're watching this, you already probably know what I'm talking about. He recounting times when he would observe her with her friends, and from his perspective, you're like, wow, Bella is a really like kind, thoughtful, selfless person. So it's really just interesting that like obviously Twilight, like I give it a lot of credit because I love it so much, but Twilight is pretty like self-inserty, but also it makes sense that you wouldn't notice like your good traits from like your own perspective, and sometimes it takes like somebody who loves you to see like the best in you. So it's really sweet to like see that kind of from Edward's perspective. I will also say it's kind of funny that Edward's just like becoming so obsessed with her when Bella's just like a nice person. Like she's just nice. Like that's like he's just so shocked that she's nice, and I'm like, okay. Also, can we talk about how the fact that he's ignoring her because he is refusing to, you know, let one of the futures happen where she either dies or becomes a vampire, right? So he's ignoring her. Can we talk about the fact that he decides to give it all up and just give in to wanting him because he realizes he's jealous of Mike Newton asking her to the dance? Like that is like the most 17-year-old thing that Edward has ever done, probably. And I love it. First of all, I love the pages of justification we get for why he decides to sneak into her room and watch her sleep. The fact that he does it because he suddenly can't stop thinking about how unlucky she is and that a meteorite might come into her house, like smash through her roof and kill her. And then he's like, I know it's a metaphor, but there's just so many things that could go wrong. And then he's in her room and he kills a spider because he's like, the thought of anything hurting her is intolerable. And then he has this like epiphany and he's like, I can't be the thing that hurts her. And then yada yada yada. The fact that he literally thinks to himself, I'm the nightmare, I'm the villain, and it's like, bro, shut the fuck up. But I love it. This is humiliating. I am absolutely tearing up. He's in her bedroom for the first time watching her sleep, and he's like, well, I am finally admitting to myself that I'm in love with her, and she deserves to be happy and I could never be that person, so I really should leave. And then she says, Edward, don't. And he's like, could a cold dead frozen heart break? And then she like whispers in her sleep, Edward, don't leave, and like kind of snuggles into her blankets, and it goes like, could a cold frozen heart beat again? And I'm like, he's been so alone for so long, and he finally has someone who likes him that he likes back. This is humiliating. I am crying. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, I'm got it together now. The next day, he is asking if he can drive her to Seattle the day of the dance, just because he wants to spend time with her. And she's like, why would you offer? And in his head, he's like, wow, she really must have thought I hated her from all of her interactions, which, yeah, duh. But Edward, would you consider that you've never hung out, like, ever, and you have maximum had 5 conversations? Day 1, day 2, car accident, hospital, yesterday. That's 5 conversations. So maybe the fact that you've had 5 conversations total over the course of almost 3 months, and now you're asking if you can drive her to Seattle? I too would be like, why? One last thing before I go to sleep. Edward is finally realizing that Bella isn't scared of him, she's attracted to him, and he's like having thoughts, thinking things, and I'm like, yes, dude, embrace your inner horn dog. Bella has had 4 books and 15 years of page time wanting to just hop on that, so you get your moment. I believe in you. Good morning, my loves, my doves, my darlings. I am on a walk with this dog. She has decided to stage a protest and sit down instead of moving forward. So I thought I would take the moment to update you. I listened to like 17% of the audiobook, and then I read a chapter and a half on my ebook, like right before I went to bed, and I got to 24%. And so now I am listening to the audiobook. We're right at the scene when Edward just saved Bella from those creeps in Port Angeles. I love a panic moment, so I love when a character is like freaking out about something, and so Edward's like full-on meltdown about not being able to find Bella and then having to save Bella. I eat that shit up. But then also, this is the first time we get real like memories of Edward's killer years. So the years, like, it's like, I think it was like 10 years that he spent not living with Carlisle and hunting humans instead, and he justified it by only hunting like killers and like terrible people. A lady walked by, so I had to stand here awkwardly and pretend I wasn't talking to myself. Anyway, I'm also rewatching Criminal Minds right now, and so the idea that Edward was like hunting killers and serial killers is very funny to me, because I'm like, what would Edward be like on the BAU? Okay, fellas, we got the first pomegranate sighting. As you know, the cover of Midnight Sun is, in my opinion, hideous, and multiple times throughout the book, Edward compares himself to Hades and compares Bella to Persephone, and kind of like uses that metaphor of pomegranate seeds, like he's seducing her into his life of demons and soullessness, blah 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 blah. So I just got the first appearance while they're eating at the Italian restaurant in Port Angeles, and she takes the first bite of her mushroom ravioli, and he's like, suddenly I'm hit with a vision. Bella as Persephone, eating the pomegranates that would doom her to the underworld. It's very dramatic. It's a little much. Am I complaining? No. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. I love that the scene in the book where Bella tells Edward that she knows he's a vampire happens in a car. It just feels so like intimate, and like it's just the two of them like in the whole world. Whereas like in the movies, visually, like I love the woods. Like I love it. I love that like circle cam that like spirals around them while she's like, how long have you been 17? Like I love it, but it's not as like intimate, you know what I mean? Oh god. And I love it from Edward's perspective too, because he's just like freaking out the whole time. It's great. Hello, it's a couple hours later. I'm still listening to the audiobook, and I have just gotten to the day when Edward is going to ask Bella questions. Twilight, we really skim over this because Bella doesn't find herself very interesting. But in this book, we get like all the details of all of Bella's answers to all of Edward's questions, basically. And that includes like her favorite books and favorite movies. While I love it and I like learning more about Bella, this could have been trimmed down hardcore. It's way too long. Like I don't need to know her 50 favorite books. You know what I mean? Give me 3. She literally names like 15. But also, I just honestly, even though like Stephenie Meyer wrote this and like this is the canon, some of it I'm just like, you're gonna tell me that Bella's 3 favorite movies are Pride and Prejudice? Okay, that makes sense. Vertigo and Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Like, I love Monty Python just as much as the next person. Bella's so boring. Like, if we're gonna go with like a satire comedy that she likes, I see her liking The Princess Bride more because it's kind of more of a love story, you know what I mean? So I don't know, it just like this is such a weird chapter. It's so weird. I stand corrected. Bella actually is talking about her favorite books, and she's listing out this entire, it's like so many things. But then she says, oh, The Princess Bride, so much better than the movie. How humiliating! I gotta go. I gotta leave. Don't look at me. Not to, talk about it too much, but Alice is like so fucking cool. Her power is so cool. She's talking to Edward right now. It's the day before the meadow. And oh, this is really a bad angle, huh? It's the day before the meadow, and Edward and Alice are talking about all of her visions where he murders Bella. And it's just, he's like, well, I'll leave. And she's like, no, you'll come back and you'll kill her. And he's like, well, I should have never come back. And she was like, no, you would have come back and you would have killed her if you had never loved her. And they're just like, he's like trying to make these decisions that'll change his future. And it's so cool, like listening to her kind of play by play how her visions work, because in the original Twilight it's so vague and it's like I don't really understand it, but it's so interesting to actually like see how it functions, you know what I mean? I'm extremely into it. I love Alice so much. Alice is so cool. When I was younger, I had the Alice's choker, like with the Cullen crest on it, and I did wear it to school, and I have no shame about that. I'm a little shame about it. A little bit. Not that much though. I am just about to listen to the meadow scene. And if you were not hip with the news back in the day and didn't know about the unfinished draft, you wouldn't know that the unfinished draft ends like a day before the meadow scene is supposed to happen, maybe 2 days before. So and this is like my favorite scene in Twilight, and I just desperately wanted to know what he was thinking during this scene. And when I realized that 12 years later I would finally get to read the meadow scene, I freaked. I flipped. And then to read it in the book, I'm listening to the audiobook, so I don't know how long it's gonna be, but in the book it's like 50 page. It's like a 50-page scene. It's incredible. Every single moment is like I love it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to read it again. The reason I did bring out the camera is because Edward is like agonizing over how Bella is going to like react to him showing her his skin in the sun, and he's like, she'll be repulsed by the inhumanity. Like, dude, you sparkle. You sparkle. That's not scary. Oh my God. I'm gonna kill him. Okay, I'm on my way to work now. I just wanted to update you and let you know that the last time I filmed a clip was over an hour ago. I was listening to just an hour ago, and I've been listening to the audiobook the entire time. I'm listening on 2x speed, and the meadow scene is not over yet. So if that lets you know how fucking long it is, I have been overwhelmed by emotion at least 3 times. So I'm obsessed. It's 1 a.m. I got home almost an hour ago and then just sat in my car for a while. I'm at 65% of the audiobook. A bunch of stuff has happened. We got Rosalie's little backstory when Edward was thinking about how she was created and they kind of hated each other, and then 2 years later when she found Emmett, they kind of had a bonding moment, and so that was really cute. I love that it's kind of heartbreaking how like that first night after the meadow, which I just read is where I'm at right now. He's just so excited to have a future with her. Like, he keeps thinking to himself, we're gonna get to have so many mornings together and so many evenings, and as long as she'll have me, I get to be with her. I'm so happy, I can't believe it. To think that literally like the next day James is gonna happen. It's honestly heartbreaking. Oh, I did the math. The chapter with the meadow scene is 107 minutes long. So, yeah. And I think that's everything. I've been trying to remember all the stuff that I've, like, noticed as I went through. But there's so much. I listened to so much since I saw you, so. And I could hear my cat crying inside. So I have to go in and say hello to her. So I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Good morning. I woke up like almost an hour ago. I was listening to the book. I wanted this video to be up today, this afternoon. Yes, I'm wearing this again. It's become my pajamas. But I have like 8 hours of the audiobook left. So I've been listening to it this morning, and every couple of minutes I've been bumping up that speed. I'm now at 2.5 speed. I'll try my best. This video is probably gonna go up tomorrow, which sucks, but it is what it is. I'd rather have it be good than have it be crazy rushed. Not much is happening. Well, I mean, like, a lot's happening. Like, Bella woke up and now they're at Edward's family's house and she's like meeting all the Cullens. Currently, Edward is like telling her all about Carlisle's life while they look at his like wall of paintings. And I hate to say it, but I don't really care. Like, it's interesting, and it's like interesting getting Edward's commentary as well. But I prefer his commentary, like his inner monologue, when he's just like thinking about his feelings, not like describing what's happening. So I'm just like kind of like not bored, but like I want to like move on a little bit. But I loved last time I read it the confrontation between the Cullens and the Nomads. So just gonna have to wait and see, but that's where I am. That's what's up. Bella seems really sweet. She's kind of generic, but she always has been. And yeah, I'm just enjoying it. I wish Alice was in this book more. I feel like Alice is barely fucking in this book. And it's like, in my brain she was in it so much, but like, I want more of her. Also, I've been thinking about this. I'm pretty sure Stephenie Meyer has said that she has 2 more Twilight books planned, and neither of them is another Edward book, which is, first of all, stupid and a tragedy. Like, just like make New Moon like a novella, like a really short story, and then just write Eclipse and Breaking Dawn from Edward's perspective. Like, and then during the Jacob parts of Breaking Dawn, have it from Rosalie's perspective. Literally, it'd be that easy. But she's not going to do that. I'm pretty sure she's writing a Jacob and Renesmee book, which is going to be god-awful. But I want an Alice and Jasper book. I want one so bad. Not when he's a Confederate soldier. That is still so fucking weird. So fucking weird. But if you could, like, just, like, imagine them when she finds him. She's, like, she woke up, she saw him in her vision. Like, she knows what her name is because the very first thing that she saw was Jasper lovingly looking at her and saying her name. But it's like, when she's like, okay, he's defected from the armies in the South, he's depressed and wandering, it's time. Like, I love soulmates, okay? And I just want their book, especially since Alice is so fucking cool, you know? And I like soulmates, but I don't want to fucking read about Jacob and Renesmee because that's so fucking weird. And another thing, Carlisle is so bland. Like, he's literally just like a godlike, a Jesus-like figure, I guess. I don't know if he's actually a Jesus figure. I'm not very good at picking that stuff out, but he's just a little like, he's so like, he was turned and immediately saw his own evil and spent years and years trying to figure out a way to be good. He figured out how to be a vegetarian vampire. He's never killed someone like accidentally. Like, he's beautiful, he's a doctor, he's kind, he's like, what are his hobbies? What are his interests? Does he have a favorite pop star? Like, does he have a problematic fave celebrity? What TV shows does he watch? Does he like The Real Housewives? Like, what is up with him? Does he do anything besides just stand there, be pretty, and like generic, just like good? It's so like, I don't care about his backstory when he's the least interesting part about it. Okay, so currently Billy and Jake just saw Edward and Bella together, so like that whole situation just happened, which was very interesting to hear from Edward's perspective. I love that Edward like really likes Jacob. Like his first impression of him is so like he has such a nice mind to be in, basically. I just love that. I really thought that was like a little interesting scene, especially seeing like the Cullens coming back to Forks, but from the perspective of the tribe was very interesting. But now they're getting ready for the baseball game, and Rosalie's like trying to get out of town because she doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want to see Bella, and Edward is like stopping her, and she was like, "Why do you even care? Why is this important to you?" And he's like, "You're important to me." And I'm like, is she? Because you're not very nice to her, mostly. And she's just mostly been annoying for like the entire book. She's just been mean about your girlfriend like the whole time. She's like your least favorite sibling. You basically openly say that to yourself all the time. Like, is she important to you? I don't know. And another thing, they're just about to go to the baseball game, which means the baseball game, James, the Chase, Arizona, all still has to happen, and we're already at 75% of the book. So I'm like, oh my god, there's not going to be enough time. Yeah, there's still 7 hours of audiobook left. I want to clarify an earlier thought. I still stand by that the baseball game goes on too long, but I do think that, you know, the play-by-play kind of setup works for a while, and then I think there's a point in the game where it would, I think, very easily have naturally transitioned into just being a little bit more general, being like, we kept playing, then we switched innings, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I don't really like baseball, but instead it continues to be like too much detail, and that goes on for like, I'm listening to the audiobook, so I can't tell exactly, but probably like a page and a half, 2 pages, and it's like, why? The Nomads are there now, so I'm very excited. I love this part. We'll see. Okay, so the confrontation with the Nomads has happened. I just love it. I love getting to see Jasper like in his element, to the point where Edward didn't even know he was capable of doing the things he was doing. He, if you don't know, Jasper is manipulating the impressions of the Nomads to make Emmett look scarier, to make Edward look more agitated, to make Bella, Esme, and Alice look uninteresting, and he's also making himself look, you know, unnoticeable, which to a vampire, like, he's covered in scars, he, you know, he has a lot of experience in combat, so it's like he has a pretty aggressive first impression. So to see that he can like manipulate this like camouflage over himself is so cool, and it really makes me think Edward is not that fucking observant, because he literally is like, how long has he been able to do this? Dude, he's been living with you since the 60s. What the fuck? Sorry, I have so much to say. This is just the best scene, probably. But listen, Alice is in the car. She's like, Edward, he's not going to give up, but if we take the prize away from him preemptively, so like turn Bella into a vampire preemptively, he'll give up, because then the prize isn't there anymore. And it's just so interesting to hear her arguing this, because that's what happened to her. She was one of James's targets back in the 20s, and then whoever created her to protect her turned her into a vampire to escape like him. So she's like the one prey that got away. And now she, unbeknownst to her, is, oh my god, I never noticed that before. I love that. Okay, so I, again, stand by the fact that the hunting scene where Edward and Emmett and Carlisle are chasing James is just too long. It's just too long. I'm in the midst of it right now. It's too long. However, I would like to say that it is nice to see them not be the best at something. The fact that James is outsmarting them, it not humanize, I mean, it kind of humanizes them, but it makes them seem more realistic. Because from Bella's perspective, they're like, they've never failed, basically. Like, and they're being outsmarted by this guy, and it's nice to see Edward and like them trying to do something and not being immediately successful. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just appreciate it. I don't know. Library returning some books. I saw this, and I love the spine for some reason, but I can't tell if the cover is really beautiful or really ugly. I can't tell. Anyway, they just finished the car chase through Phoenix. I love that scene. I love them all working together, like using their powers together, and like Edward reading Alice's like visions as they're going, but then also reading the minds of them to like get like good side views of what's gonna happen, and like Jasper like keeping them all focused as a unit. It's just so good. Oh my god, I love this book. We're about to take Bella to the hospital, which means this is the best chapter. It's the coolest one. It's where Alice, you basically see her like trial run the entire way they're going to fake Bella's accident, and it's so cool. It's so fucking cool. I can't wait. No offense to Alice's like superior knowledge on whether or not Bella will have a good time, but if I was dating someone and they surprised me by bringing to prom, I would flip my shit. Like, if I don't want to go to prom and you're just gonna surprise me by bringing me to prom, fuck off. Truly fuck off. Also, I didn't forget, but I really just, the end of this book, I'm in the epilogue now, it's just so sad, because it's basically like, from Bella's perspective, she's like, okay, I'm glad we get to be together, and we'll just like talk about it some other time. But from Edward's perspective, he's just like, I'm gonna leave her. Like, I'm going to leave her. It is an inevitability, and I'm going to do it. It's just a matter of when. And it's just like, ugh. I just want them to be happy. Okay, this is like my third time trying. I'm running out of storage, so I gotta be quick. But we have come to the end of our journey, friends. I'm wearing my Edward shirt in solidarity because I love him. This was amazing. I'm shocked. I only read 22 pages of the actual book. The rest I read on ebook, or I mostly just listened to the audiobook. But overall, let's just talk about it. This is amazing. I love this. This is probably my favorite of the Twilight books. It's hard to say that. The problem is that it's so much wish fulfillment for everything I've wanted for 10 years. So the expectations were so high, and then to have them met and exceeded in pure enjoyment levels is just like, I can't resist it. I love it so much. It's so funny because Edward still doesn't really have a personality. Bella has more of a personality than he does. He's basically a prop in the relationship. It's very strange, but I love him so much, and I love all the characters. It's just, I haven't really talked about this. I talked about it kind of a lot in my like review video that I did last year, but it kind of sucks that all of Bella's friends are like horrible bitches except for Angela. Like in the Twilight series, you never really get the impression that Jessica's like malicious, but in this, she's like fully mean, like mentally, not like out loud. It's just very unfortunate. But overall, I mean, Edward is just, I love him so much. Bella, I love her so much. I love just everything. I had such a good time. I hope you enjoyed this video. It truly was just me saying every single stupid thought I had over the course of me reading this book. So if I sound stupid, that's because that's what they are. They're my stupid thoughts. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you've read this book, what your favorite scene is, because I just want to talk about it. Did I mention that the meadow scene is 107 minutes long in the audiobook? An almost 2-hour long scene. The meadow scene is a novella. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me, probably. I'm pretty sure. So it's just like, I'm just having a great time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.